A shocking case of child abuse. A local couple accused of biting and beating two young children.
And Garden City police want to know if there are more victims.
It's very terrifying.
Had I been home, had I opened the door, to see what he's doing there, telling me that he's a cop, what would have happened after that?
Natasha Forrest was more concerned about our TV cameras in her bond. I must have left it out.
Yeah, I was terrified. Just even now, I'm shaking.
We have to, like I said, look at our society and figure out what drives people to do that, and what can we do to make sure people don't want to do that.
This can't be tolerated.
Nobody got hurt. We were really lucky.
Damn!
Now YouTube censored.
I'm mad as hell right now. Yes, I am.
Viewer discretion is advised. Mama Black.
This program contains language and sequences some viewers may find disturbing.
A shocking case of child abuse. A local couple accused of biting and beating two young children. The alleged abuse happening for over 2 years. This afternoon, those parents are locked up. Morgan Norwood live at the Cumberland County Detention Center. And Morgan, those parents facing a judge today?
Yeah, Amber, in the courtroom is where we got these heartbreaking details. Detectives in this case testified today that these children were repeatedly beaten with an extension cord, suffered bite marks all over their body, and were severely emaciated. We're talking about Tevin McDonald and his girlfriend, Natasha Forrest. They're both charged with multiple counts of felony child abuse. They made their first court appearance today. That's where McDonald tearfully pleaded with the judge for his freedom, explaining how he called DSS to come remove the children, realizing that he was going too far in disciplining.
This happened 3 days ago. The young man came to the front door and rang this doorbell, but it was the video camera above it that captured the entire incident and led to his arrest.
I'm looking for Miss Laura Combs. My name
She doesn't live here. She don't live there anymore.
Look at this young man who rang Priscilla Wood's doorbell 3 days ago.
We were at the grocery store, and my doorbell rang at 8:45 at nighttime, so I answered it from my phone.
The young man claims he's a deputy constable and looking for a woman named Laura. Listen.
I really can't speak on it, but if she isn't at this address, then I can't really talk to you about anything.
And that's fine. What did you say your name was?
Wood and her husband realized right away that something was wrong and continued to talk to the young man through that video doorbell until they came home. You can see on the video when the real constables actually showed up there in the background.
And armed robbers targeted 2 Chicago nail salons. The frightening moment when they pulled out guns on people inside that store was all caught on surveillance cameras. The robberies happened in Roscoe Village and Sauganash. NBC5's Christian Farr has more on that investigation and why apparently these robbers are targeting salons.
Take a close look at the two men in these surveillance photos because Chicago police need your help identifying this duo who they say robbed at least 2 nail salons at gunpoint.
It's very terrifying.
Erica Namsray manages 2x10 Roscoe, one of those nail salons that had recently been robbed. At about noon on Friday, December 1st, the salon security cameras captured the moment when 2 men walked into the Roscoe Village establishment.
Yeah, I was terrified. Just even now, I'm shaking. Yes.
Shaking, but still a quick thinker with her cell phone. In fact, this Uber passenger who did not want to be identified telling us she routinely snaps photos of all her drivers' Uber pictures, just in case.
I mean, every time I get on the Uber, you never know. But I didn't think it was going to be me this time, so.
And this time, here on Old Country Road in East Garden City, she ended up snapping another photo that was arguably more helpful. Proof of her driver, 24-year-old Taylor Evans, exposing himself. Evans is now charged with public lewdness, and Garden City police want to know if there are more
West Bank
victims.
shipyard workers have video they think proves their former supervisor is guilty of discrimination on the job. As Natasha Robin reports, their lawsuits describe an incident involving a hangman's noose.
Do I want a what?
Hangman's from you read from there.
That rope?
A Wagaman shipyard supervisor is accused of taunting a group of African-American workers with a hangman's noose. At the time, the workers had been discussing the removal of Confederate monuments in New Orleans.
He got upset, and so then he went in and brought out a noose and went past James and one of the plaintiffs and said, "James, look out," and everything. Here I come, with this swinging the noose.
Attorney Glenn McGovern represents 3 of the African-American workers from the Archer Daniels Midland shipyard, and he's filed federal lawsuits against the company and former supervisor at the June 12th incident was captured on cell phone video.
So don't want to hang that from my rearview mirror. That's some more race she kicking, huh?
When the video was shown to the local supervisors, Edward Collins supposedly, according to witnesses, walked off, and they called him back and got him back a couple of days later, and he continued to work and wasn't isolated from her or anything.
According to the lawsuit, the company ADM did nothing to remedy blatant violations of its anti-discrimination policy for months. After Petitioner Bourgeois and at least 14 other African-American employees signed a petition asking for an investigation against Collins.
Go and get paid. Get some coin.
No action was taken. Then they filed EOC complaints, and then at that point, then the Home Office people came down and started to investigate.
ADM issued a statement saying upon learning of the incident, it took action and terminated the supervisor. The company also said it has zero tolerance for hate, racism, and discrimination, and does not stand for the kind of behavior alleged in this complaint. It said all employees in the division had to undergo ethics and sensitivity training.
The purpose is a deterrent, and that's why we're doing this suit, and that's why these guys are sticking their necks out to bring this forward. It shouldn't happen, and they don't want it to happen to anybody else.
The African-American employees involved in the lawsuits are still employed by ADM.
On the other hand, his wife, Natasha Forrest, was more concerned about our TV cameras in her bond as she asked a judge to have us removed. A Wake County court convicted Natasha Forrest of felony child abuse in 2013. That's why District Attorney Billy West fought so hard today to keep them both behind bars.
It is very concerning. It's one reason we asked for the bond increase, because there's a history there, and now these children are alleged to have been abused on 2 different occasions in 2 different counties, and that just can't be tolerated with our children here in Cumberland County.
And as for Tevin McDonald, he also has priors in Wake County. He was convicted for robbery with a dangerous weapon along with kidnapping. Both he and his wife are being held here at the Cumberland County Detention Center. As for their 3 children, ages 3, 4, and 6, they are now in the care of the Department of Social Services.
McClellan has since been charged with impersonating a public servant, much to the relief of Wood and her husband.
Had I been home, had I opened the door, to see what he's doing there, telling me that he's a cop, what would have happened after that?
As for neighbors who live in this otherwise quiet subdivision, they're just glad the video system worked and McClendon is now charged.
It's really scary. I'm just glad he's caught.
Precinct 4 Constable's office believes that the young man was walking around this neighborhood and knocked on several doors over the last couple of days. So if you have any information, you are urged to contact the constable's office. Meanwhile, we've also learned he lives just in this neighborhood as well. So you can imagine people are surprised that this is taking place.
And with the gun, walked in, freeze us, like saying, "Don't move." And then everybody freeze, then they robbed us.
Namsray says the 2 men took at least 4 cell phones and about $1,000 in cash before jumping into a parked car and driving away.
We have to, like I said, look at our society and figure out what drives people to do that, and what can we do to make sure people don't want to do that.
10 days later, Chicago police say a similar duo had been caught on surveillance video robbing the Spa Nail City in Sauganash at gunpoint. Those cameras captured very clear images of the suspects.
I had no idea. No idea. I'm completely stunned by that.
Pretty frightening. It's in broad daylight with lots of traffic.
Earlier this month, at least 2 other nail salons within 2 blocks of each other had also been robbed. The numerous nail salon robberies have led to Namsray keeping her salon doors locked during operating hours in hopes of preventing this crime from happening again.
Nobody got hurt. We were very lucky.
Chicago police want to make sure that people are aware of this crime and to report anything suspicious. And if they recognize the men in those surveillance videos, call 911 immediately.
I was really freaked out. I didn't know what to do. I was in the middle of traffic, so I was like, if I step out of the car, I might just get run over or just stay here. So took a picture, and then I'll stay quiet until, hopefully I get to work. Hopefully nothing happened.
She then notified cops. We visited the home here in Elmont where the driver told the judge he lived with his parents.
Go away, you have the wrong address.
Well, he said this was his address in court, ma'am.
You have the wrong address, go away.
So he lied to the judge in court? No answer. Meanwhile, when police asked him about the incident, Evans told them he never hurt his passenger, that he was in fact not exposing himself, but adjusting himself, and then said, quote, "I must have left it out."
How you forget that? Tell me. No. Yeah.
And as always, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. Also follow us on the usual media for more and interesting information like this.
Fight their asses.